Yeah, incredible result for the team here in Perth. Felt like we left a lot out there, like plenty of work to do, but really proud of how the team has been chipping away each day. You know, we had a disappointing starts yesterday and not really the results we wanted, but we came out firing today and yeah, just stoked.
What do you feel now?
Yeah, to be honest, right now I just feel like absolutely on cloud nine. And just an incredible day for it, buzzing to get to sail these boats in conditions like that. The team did such a good job. Parker, you know, our flight controller was amazing. Just would love to do more racing like that in the F50s, you know, just the best conditions for it, absolutely amazing.
And talk us through that final. Obviously it was close at the start and you legged out. Like, where were the key moves for you?
Yeah, I felt like I got quite excited at the start, I'm not going to lie. There was a little opportunity, well, there may have been an opportunity to lock the other boats out, but I think from there we just really focused on our own race and we had that inside line to Mark 1 and that one and in from there. So felt as though we, after yesterday's, we just went, let's just stay clean, especially the bottom gate, give up some meters, just be clean and be able to sail our own race and let the boat speed come through.
Yeah, it hurts losing to the British. That's 2 event wins in a row on Australian soil. That hurts. As I just said, we got the Ashes at least, but the sailors will pick up our slack for the next Sydney event and try to get one back on them. But it does hurt, but at the end of the day, if I said to my wife on Thursday night when Goobs was injured, I said, if we get away with this with a top 6, I think we'll be happy. And here we are with a second place. We've got to be over the moon with that.
How tough were those conditions and what was the hardest part for your team considering the crew change?
I think the hardest part is just Glenn hasn't sailed in those conditions before, and he hasn't sailed with an 18-metre wing, he hasn't sailed with T-foils, he hasn't done any of that stuff. And so it's just supporting him and how best can we help you. But it was also, Goobs in the coach's box, he's sitting there calling different things, he's calling us into the start, he did an amazing job sort of helping out. Glenn the way he explains, I've got tunnel vision trying to do my job well, but slowly but surely the blinkers are turning off and I'm starting to open up and see a bit more around the racetrack. But he did such an amazing job to fill in on a couple of days' notice and get a result like that for our team and for his country. He's stoked to be coming back and racing for Australia, so that's an awesome result for us and him.
And how cool was it to have Fremantle as the opener for the 2026 season?
It was amazing. I don't know. I think Prix should probably be the final. It caused a bit of chaos. There's a lot of damage as we head into event 2, but I think this would be the best finals venue. And imagine we're doing that 3-boat final for a couple of $1 million. I think that's the way we should do it in the future.
Top 3 podium on the first event. Are you pleased with your performance?
Not pleased, but I'm happy. Just my feeling is that we just give it to the Brits and. On the starts, we know what we missed, so focus on the next one. But it's an unbelievable start for this season. Just have to take it as it is.
Yeah, I guess if you look back at last season, you were sitting on the sidelines, and here you're with a new sponsor in the top 3, and I guess just so much still to improve on throughout the season. Yeah, exactly.
So good to start the season normally, I would say. With the new bench of athletes, new coaches, it's just really good for the confidence and still working on our processes, but it's a good start, definitely.
Sure, 4th's awesome result. It's always hard to go from leading on day 1 to missing out on the podium on day 2. But yeah, super proud of the team. What a result. If you had have said 4 months ago we were going to be fighting for podiums and winning races straight away, I would have taken that. And yeah, it hurts a bit today to miss out, especially the way we did with just a terrible last start with a few unforced errors. But great weekend, and the team did an awesome job.
What happened in that last start?
Just sort of a handling error going into the first tack in the pre-start. We were pretty low on our time to kill, and I just got a little bit too much heel going into it. We popped the rudder out of the water in the sea state and managed to end up H2 out of that tack, and then we're quite late. So I guess that's just a little bit of rust here and there. I think today was definitely tough conditions to sail the boats in, and the little debrief we've had so far is we've obviously got some work to do in those challenging conditions. Yesterday was obviously a little bit easier, but that's natural, so that's life. And yeah, it's hard to let a potential podium slip away, but fourth in the first event's pretty good.
Man, that was an incredible day. Probably one of the hardest days in SailGP history, I would guess. I definitely have to pull the rest of the gang that's been here for a long time, but yeah, it was what we expected when we came into Fremantle. So yeah, just not our best day execution-wise. Disappointed for sure, but we made some big strides, and it's not that we weren't comfortable sailing in those conditions, but we just made a few silly errors. So I think that we finished 8th in I think all 3 races today out of 10 that were out on the start line, and or 11. How many? 11 out there. Or so yeah, maybe we were 9th in all 3 races. Long day, but yeah, good progress, and I think. Again, we definitely have a solid base in the big breeze now that we're super pleased with that. So definitely one of the areas that we were looking to improve.
It looks so tough out there. I guess for you as a driver and the rest of the team, what was the toughest part to just get around that racetrack?
Yeah, I think just maneuvering in those conditions. You never know what you're going to get on the exit of every maneuver or even the entry. So just trying to keep all 4 foils in the water is probably the name of the game in the maneuvers. And so we again had some tough starting and put ourselves on the back foot and kind of would battle back into races and sometimes have a tough maneuver, and that's what it came down to, was just keeping it clean and sailing your boat around the racetrack. And I think the people that did that the best today were the ones that were probably up in the front.
Giles, I say that you're only as good as your last race. Are you feeling pretty good about that last one?
No, we had a good one in the last race for sure, and I think today we sailed pretty well in the other races. We just we were on the front end of the traffic bulge in that middle of the fleet, which made those leeward gates for us particularly difficult in the first couple of races. But certainly improvements from how we were sailing the boat around the course yesterday. I think the story of our weekend is kind of summed up by yesterday. Just few unforced errors costing us pretty heavily around the course. So plenty to look at, but equally there's plenty of positives, and it's a long season.
How tough were the conditions out there today? You guys were obviously very locked in that last race, but just describe to us how challenging it was for everybody on board.
It doesn't get much harder. Like, you're fighting cavitation in the foils at the top end, so the boat, you probably can't see it from the footage, but the boat is juddering around like anything at speed. The sea state makes it super hard to keep the boat locked in. Really tricky for the pilots. And of course it's windy, so there's always plenty of jeopardy. It doesn't get too much harder than that.
Adrenaline, that was such an epic day. My gosh, that was a lot of fun. We were just loving those conditions, and little wings, big breeze, big waves, lots of carnage, lots of situations. It was taxing on the mind, but what a ripper.
Yeah, you had one moment I saw, and looked like you were right on the edge. The boat was heeling over. It was all hectic. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, we came out of it. We sort of just were behind the US team and we went into a jibe, sort of matching jibe with them, and I think they had a bit of a stinker, so we ended up coming above them and getting locked, but we didn't really have a wing trimmer in station or another driver, so we're sort of right on our edge and a bit pinned to windward of them. So it was interesting. There was a lot of heel and for a very long time, but VMG was good still, so we kept pushing and kept sailing, and got out of it and didn't really lose anything, so it was quite cool. It was a cool moment, actually.
What do you think of sort of like the new setup we have now with like the T-foils and obviously the 18-metre wing out there? Does it feel like you can push the boat a little bit more with the new foils?
The new foils are they're a lot easier. I think it's a lot harder to mold the boat, but they're a lot easier just to sail it in general and your boat handling. But the 18-metre wings are pretty special. They really make the handling in those conditions a lot easier. So I'm a massive fan of them. But I think everyone's confidence is probably a little bit high. And looking at yesterday and what happened and situations today, everyone's got a lot of confidence now in their boat handling. And I think it won't be the last crash you'll see.
And are you excited to be, I know you came back in Abu Dhabi, but how excited are you to be back here at SailGP and have the full season ahead of you to really like ramp up and rep Red Bull Italy?
think someone said it once. They said you're a rooster one day and a feather duster the next. I think it was actually my boss. So your seat's never safe here. You've got to perform and you've got to keep performing. And it's nice to have a bit of run time and lead time, but you've got to show progress. And I think today I was really proud of the team and how we handled those conditions. We're a new squad together, 50% sort of new on the boat and new strategists and people in the comms, new coaches. So to come out of a day like today with no injuries and no damage and some good points is, I'm really proud of how we handled it. So it's a long season. You've got to keep the boat in one piece and keep the crew in one piece, and then you've got to play the game smart, and hopefully we did that here this weekend.
Surprised the boat is still in one piece, but now luckily only crashes with the water, and we agreed in the morning that let's push hard, but let's just only crash in the water and not with other boats, and we managed to keep that rule today. But we definitely sent it, I would say, above our skill level, but you got to find the limit and have something to build on for Auckland, so we did that, and some of it was okay and a lot of it was underwater, but that's part of it.
So you weren't seeking for a speed record today?
We weren't seeking for it, but we found ourselves at angles and situations where we didn't know how to slow down or get control, and then you'd probably get the speed record. I think we got it today actually. So we don't chase it when we get it, but it just seems to come to us somehow.
And you have a new flight controller. How tough were the conditions for Ed out there today?
I'm really impressed with Ed. I mean, we knew he was going to be great. That's why we put him in the position. But to come in your first event as a flight controller in these conditions and almost pull it off, and that's really impressive. And it's promising for the season for us. And that's why we're smiling, even though we finished 8th in the events. We had some good moments up there, and the rest we can fix. It's just about time on the water and more maneuvers, and then we'll come.
It's really challenging for us in the new configuration. We tried our best to get a line, but here and there we're still missing something, and a bit frustrating today and yesterday, but still a long season, and looking forward to get some gains.
I guess looking ahead, as you said, it is a really long season. Staying out of trouble is really important. How much did you sort of take from yesterday into today, or was it just a different day out there?
Quite a bit. I mean, the footage you create on one day, it lasts for probably 2-3 weeks of analyzing, and we did our best to filter the most important stuff out. But in the end, today was very different. Back on the small wing, lots of good things we achieved today, but there was always a big one in each race. So, yeah.
I think the level of the fleet is pretty high, and I don't seem like the rest of the fleet was having a lot of trouble with the waves. So it was quite tough for the boats. I made it for flat water, but it seems like the level is quite high, and we still have a lot to get there.
First race was a bit touch and go for us, but then much better after that. We were really fighting in the mix. Some good things, some bad things, but just great to be on the water and fight with the others.
It looked like everyone was still pushing really hard. It was such a fine line between risk, reward, and fighting for every point. The finishes were so close.
Yeah, and I think everybody's getting much better at sailing these boats, and these small wings are so really good for those high winds, and it's just great to get that time under our belt, and it's just amazing racing with everyone.